So, welcome to Memphis, by the way.
Thank you.
You said some of you have been here so far, but some your first time here?
First time, yeah.
First time playing here?
First time just being here.
Anything besides driving through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Where is everybody kind of somewhat based out of? Everybody's...
I'm based out of
Yeah,
Evansville.
Well, let's do a name and based out of.
Okay.
Okay.
My name is
All right.
Caden Ray, and I'm based out of Evansville, Indiana.
What do you're based?
Yes, I play bass.
So,
My name's Garrett Barkas. I'm based out of Sacramento, California, and I sing.
I love that game.
I am TJ Steinwart. I play the drums, and I'm based now out of St. Louis, but originally from Springfield, Illinois.
My name is Tyler Armstrong, and exactly what TJ said, except I play guitar. Living outside of St. Louis, Missouri, and from the land of Lincoln, Springfield, Illinois.
gotcha. How did so you're all over the place a little bit. How did the band come together?
Long story short, TJ and I have known each other a long time. I was in a band. He ended up joining it. Kind of turned into this. Had a couple other members. Parted ways for various reasons, just general life things. And
Right.
first came Garrett. His friend Nico reached out and said, "Hey, this guy's the perfect dude for your band." Ended up being the case, which is like the only time ever someone has ever said something like that. And then just some situations happened this past summer. And then we knew Caden from another band that we were going to play some shows with, but it didn't turn out. And we were like, well, we'll ask Caden to play some shows with us. And now Caden's playing all the shows with us.
So in general, how long has when did it kind of start and get to where you are now?
It's really tough
I
to
know
say
it's-
because,
yeah.
like, it kind of started during COVID, but, like, was basically friends playing music at that time. So we usually say, like, basically the past 2.5 years is when it, like, really started. Like, the whole
Right.
deal with, like, TJ and I and the other two dudes who were a part of it. Garrett's been in the group for about 1.5 years at this point, and then Caden's been in the group for July.
Yeah, since July.
Since
Okay.
July, yeah.
So, were you doing the cover band stuff originally, or have you pretty much did you go out wanting to do originals from the get go?
Yeah, I'll start off. We didn't do it in what someone might say is like the traditional sense of, cutting your teeth in the bars.
Right.
I specifically did, and all of us have done our fair share of cover
stuff.
material,
Yeah.
and we love that stuff. We're not like weird about covers by any means, but no, it's pretty much originals from the get go. And the band that I was in, that TJ was in shortly after I joined, it was all original at the time too. So it just kind of kept on with that, and I'll pass this along.
Yeah, and I think why it kind of gets muddy is Tyler and I have wanted, like, we're working towards this band since we were even in that other band. Like, we always kind of had a vision for this type of music, and I don't know, just the everything that we found, like, with this group of people has been what we've been pursuing for, I guess, 8 or 9 years now. So we were, pursuing an original band from that time, and then feel like we finally found it within the last 1.5 years-ish since we found Garrett, and then Caden's all right too. He's fine, but no, it's been awesome having him as a part of this as well. So we all kind of cut our teeth in different ways. I grew up playing in churches and then in other bands and doing some cover stuff, and I think the same with Caden and all of us really. But with this, it was very hey, we have a vision for originals and what we want our sound to be, and it's just been that from the get go.
It's a lot of the people that we interview on this podcast is I told y'all it's very singer-songwriter oriented, either from DFW or Nashville or something like that, and they kind of go through those. You got to play the covers to get the bar gigs and stuff like that, and it's a really hard transition
Yeah.
to decide I'm going to cut back to 2 or 3 covers and play mostly my stuff. But I imagine it's a little bit different when you got a band of people with kind of the same goal instead of being, you know, on your own.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also different because, like,
It's a team effort, I guess, is my
yeah,
point.
it's different because at least like all of our approach and the fact that we've like been pursuing this around St. Louis has made it to where like we never set out for this to be a thing that was like a part of our income by getting the bar gigs. It was always sort of like we've tried to be very aware, clearly, like you were talking about, like of the social media aspect of it, and that like, hey, that's going to get you 10 times more eyes than people that might see you, you know, if you pick up a cover gig where you get to throw in some originals. So even from the beginning, I think that's why we didn't really lean into that side of things. It was more that we were going to be pretty strategic about what shows we say yes to, and try to get media out there, try to get the word out there of like what we're doing, in order to be able to start getting asked to play with other people. And kind of an interesting example of how we like launched this, you know, this band with this material with our former singer. Our first show we actually threw like a backyard party at the house that me and Tyler were renting, and like bought a bunch of beer, bought a bunch of food, and we're like just put it out there, and we're like, hey, free show in this backyard. It's our first thing. We put out some of our music like when we announced the show, and we're like, just come on out. It's a fun thing for a Friday night. We ended up getting, you know, somewhere between 150 and 250 people in our backyard. And from there, like over the next, you know, year, and even still sometimes like locally, we'll have people that were like, I was there at that backyard thing. And like, I think that helped
It's
us.
like Woodstock. There is 500,000 people there, but 1.5 million apparently were there.
Yeah.
Not really, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But no, so that was, we've just tried to, I don't know, not necessarily plug into to some of the typical like gigging scene stuff that's there, because at the end of the day, if you look at, and I'm not saying this about any other market, but at least in St. Louis, like we have a lot of friends in that, and we haven't seen a lot of people rise above to like, you know, regional success or what
Right.
or greater
It's-
from plugging into that. So
Yeah, it's a different deal for sure. And
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on your aspirations from the beginning. You know,
totally.
I mean, everybody wants to play music and you know and have fun and get the chicks and party and whatever else, right? But I remember we're supposed to get the chicks. I haven't really seen all that shit happen yet. But either way, it sometimes it takes a while to decide. You know, I want to start writing my own stuff. But like I said, it sounds like with you guys though, with the band, you kind of have a fresh start, where you're not obligated. You weren't obligated to play all those covers and stuff and break that. Or if you did in the past, when you got the band together, you're like a clean slate, and you'll be known from that. All right, so what about the all the TikTok stuff? All right, so I've done halfway decent on TikTok and stuff. So and then when you guys hit pretty hard and started going pretty fast. So
Yeah.
what I guess what started that? A lot of it, I'm just asking this mainly just because a lot of people are curious about this. A lot of people are chasing that now.
Right.
And what started it, and how did you know? Like, okay, this is going to be pretty. This is cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start and let TJ expand. One, congrats for having success on TikTok.
Well, success means I make $20 a month, or something, but
Awesome.
That's great.
Secondly, we're still figuring it out. This expands even more with what we were talking about with cover gigs and things like that. All of us have been involved with things musically for a while at least, so we can take what we've learned from that and see what we dig, see what we don't dig. We should do this, we shouldn't do this. I mean, quite frankly, we're still figuring it out. whether it's TikTok or whatever. It's going pretty well for us right now, but who knows what that means, right? We're having fun most of the time. But so when it came to the social media stuff, like, that's just what it became. Like I always say, Spotify's like the radio now, Instagram and TikTok's almost like your MTV. That's where people find new stuff. So it's like you just have to go out there and put in the work, but you don't have. It's a little bit different than back in the day when management and record labels knew exactly what to do, and this is what we're going to do, and we're going to put a whole bunch of money, and you're going to owe us millions of dollars because of it. So nowadays you have to do it yourself. So it really started with TJ and I, not me like actually making the videos and stuff, but saying like, well, how do we go about this? And we both went like, we don't know. And TJ has a background with, editing video and things like that. But we basically kind of just started there with it, and it didn't work for a really long time. I mean, like, a long time. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it was really discouraging, actually, because it's like, well, we have the material, people say we're great, yada, 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 yada. But I guess it was just a consistency of it, but all that rambling to say, TJ could say more the actual how to do that kind of stuff, but this really started on March 10th of 2024. We were heading back from a gig in Cincinnati, and we were like, oh, this video is, as the kids say, hashtag popping off, and we were just like, wow, this is awesome. And people ask me all the time, I'm sure they ask TJ all the time. I mean, in fact, people pay him to talk about social strategy at this point. I promised I would let him have it, but I think a big thing is I don't know. Like, we've been super consistent with it, and we all say come for the reels and stay for the music, but TJ's done really great with forcing it upon the people. So anyway, I was just saying I was proud of him.
There seemed to be a lot of rhyme or consistency with some of it. Some stuff, just it's like timing and everything else. You know what I mean? Like videos that I've had do well. Some of it is just me sharing something with somebody else's, and it does better than stuff that I've took, hours to make.
Yeah,
so
totally.
That's the way that works. But my whole goal on my part is to the more viewers I can get, the more it shines on the podcast and the people involved and all that. Like that's more my goal from all of it. It's like, hey, these people are taking, like, you're taking your time to talk. Let's try to get some eyes on it. That's the whole point,
Totally.
I have no ego about it. I'll share a Dwight Yoakam video or a Tom Petty or whatever in hopes that it will make its way back around to to the real reason for the channel. So,
It's interesting. I mean, I enjoy doing like social media type stuff. I grew up, when I was like first getting into drums. That was the era of like when everybody was doing YouTube drum covers. I always I just gravitated towards like that, just video and experiencing music through video in that way. So like on my own Instagram pages, I've posted videos for years and years, and like I never really got much traction until like a year and a half ago. I had a couple reels that got a couple million views and stuff, and I realized how that can convert into followers through that. And those were very just like it was like gear demo type stuff that blew up. And so like Tyler was saying, we've always had this I think approach of kind of like I was talking about earlier, seeing people plug into the way you do it, but also knowing that haven't met anyone who in the past 10 years has done it that way and has risen above the local scene. So it's always been
the guy on your shirt is one of them.
Oh yeah, they're he's
awesome. One of the few as far as where he's he got the internet clout to start with, and it actually has translated.
Exactly. Well, and so I've listened to him on a podcast. He's had his first show after coming back from the military was actually in St. Louis at the Pageant, which is a 1,500 cap room, and it's like what that's what we're pursuing right now. Dirty Honey's
his that
pursuing.
took off for covers.
Yeah, and so it's like that's the power of social media is if things can like grow like that, you know, you don't have to necessarily do the old thing of playing a market 10 times before you can sell 200 tickets or you know, whatever.
Right.
If there's some internet hype around you because of what people are seeing, like, okay, you can start to get real fans that way. And I think so we started having, I mean, like he said, we've been posting videos and stuff for a long time. I mean, literally since the beginning.
Right.
And trying to find things that, you know, matched with, you know, the aesthetic of the music or like what we're trying to do, like trying to make it authentic and then be true to what we're doing. And I think the reason I got excited about that was because you would see even just one or two people would find you and be like, wow, you guys are amazing. Like, how have I never heard of you? Like, this is awesome.
And they wouldn't if you were just traveling.
Exactly, and
Well,
that's...
what other way can you create a buzz anymore?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's either on...
really hard.
It's any sort of media. I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
Either on the TV, on the news, which is usually bad buzz,
Yeah.
or on social media. It's there literally is no other option.
Yeah.
There's no... I mean, word of mouth exists, but it's not...
It's
I
not
mean,
posted
like I said,
on polls anymore.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like I said with MTV. It's like, but the beautiful thing is about that is you can live in St. Louis or Lee, Massachusetts, or something like that, and become, you know, something of notoriety. I wouldn't say success because I don't know what that means.
Yeah, well, I've even said, like, I posted some reels sitting on my toilet that ended up getting hundreds of thousands
That's
of views
the way
for
that
us, and it's like... What
Yeah,
else
the
can you?
video wasn't him
the
sitting
post
on
wasn't
the
on the
sitting on the
toilet.
toilet, but like
Now that would be instant
That-
success.
Yeah, I mean, you probably would get a lot of views.
yeah, but like
Just-
that's
Bum and drum.
that's what's amazing about where we're at. At least I see it as amazing. I know a lot of people, like, if you're not geared to want to do the content side of it, then it can be overwhelming. But all that led to, you know, us just trying stuff. That's the thing that I think, like, man, if I had any advice for people is, like, one, be authentic to yourself, because that's one of the biggest things with today's social media is, like, if you're acting or if you're whatever, unless it's something extraordinary, you know, visually or whatever, people can see through it. So that's the one
That's-
thing. And
That's that way with everybody that I've talked to.
Totally.
No, it doesn't matter the genre.
totally. And then the other thing is just try stuff, because like he was saying, I mean, yeah, we had, you know, some of our friends who have professional media companies and stuff, like, shoot video for us and edit things together, or I edited things together, and we throw it up, nothing. Then we freaking throw up an iPhone and are in the corner of a room playing something, and it gets hundreds of thousands of views, and it's like, oh, there's nothing. I think for there's a weird, like, balance. I think that when you're like an artist coming up, you want your socials to look professional, like you already got signed to a record label, like you're already there, and that's what those people are also looking for. But then on the flip side, what we
The fan doesn't necessarily care. Most
yeah,
of the time.
and the flip side was what we discovered, because like some of our first ones that like gained traction were saying, like, hey, if you dig this band or that band, you might like us, or like we kind of sound like a blend of these things. And like we don't love that idea of like just saying, you know, oh, we're like one or two influences, but to give the viewer context and then them, like, you know, to get someone to stop, turn their volume on and listen.
A lot of times, just people like to hear that you're a fan of that person too. Like, it's a conversation piece. You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
Totally.
you like such and such too. You know, and
Exactly.
And it honestly, that's one of the things I like as far as my channel is what I try to do. So like if I post you guys, then there's going to be somebody that comments like, yeah, man, I dig them too, and then like you have 50 other comments that then you just made friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everybody wants a community.
Yeah.
And that's something that like.
But artists having a community that's a foundation.
I mean, that's how you make it last. And we're starting to experience that a lot. A lot of people are coming to these shows and know all the words and things, even as the opener, and it's very cool.
Mhm.
And something that bands like Greta Van Fleet have kind of proven still exist is that I mean, in the Greta world, they call them Gresties. There's these best friends that meet, and they go to all these shows. And because of that, they go to, hey, have you heard of Dirty Honey? Have you heard of, I guess us? That sort of thing. And then they go to our shows, and it's really like a beautiful community. And that's something really, I'm not going to say unique, but something that you don't see in other outlets of media, like with politics, etc., is like people coming together and we see all sorts of folks, like older folks, younger folks, at these shows.
With your style, I could see that a lot of the old heads would probably dig what you're.
Oh yeah, totally,
yeah. I mean, which is. That means you're doing something right.
Yeah, to them they're like.
They heard the shit back
yeah,
then,
they're like, you guys, you're doing it right. You remind me of when I saw Zeppelin in '73,
Right.
But then the younger people are like, "Wow, we don't really know Zeppelin. This is awesome." And obviously we're not Zeppelin, but my whole point is saying we're starting to build a community with the people who are in the community that really is started with other bands, and the trend is going with our social media. They're showing up to the shows now. They can talk on socials, yada yada yada, and it's becoming a very beautiful thing. And it's
Cool.
very awesome because it makes it way more than about the music. I mean, we're sharing our lives with folks, and they're sharing theirs with us. It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
I went to a festival this past weekend. They had a festival here in town called Memphis Fest, and I just did some. I actually got to sit down with a couple people, and so I shared it. And some folks on Facebook were like, "Well, you need to go to this festival." And it was called North Springs, and it's an hour east of Nashville. And I knew some of the artists I actually already talked to over Zoom and stuff. So that was my main thing. I'm going to go shake hands and meet them in person.
Mm-hmm.
But what stood out to me was there's like 12 people at this festival in the middle of like literally no cell phone service, like SOS mode.
Right.
But some people were there to see this person. Some people were there to see that person. But they were all. That's something like-minded, I guess, is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like this person's crowd helped find that person, and then they would be at the merch table, shaking hands, and so it was, like you said, it was still a community, even though they were making new fans for different people. So that's seeing things like that happen are pretty cool.
This may be slightly off topic, but it's really interesting. Obviously, I want to hear what Garrett has to say because he was not here before. During what TJ and I are talking about, like the origins of before things started working, thanks to Garrett's help a lot. But Caden's.
So what he's really saying is you're the reason why things happen.
Well, things did start helping out. I mean, it's one of the.
That's what they're saying.
That's one of the things is like it's not like one person's doing this.
Yeah.
TJ's posting the stuff, which is a beautiful thing. Like I said, I'm very proud of his skill set with that, but we couldn't do it with out Caden, Garrett, or myself, and whatever. But my point was, this might be somewhat off, but talking about the community thing because we've been talking about it so much just as a group and in other interviews. Caden's insight is very interesting because Caden was actually a fan of the band before being in the band, so his outside perspective and now inside perspective is really interesting. And I think it'd be cool for your listeners to hear what that's like as well.
Yeah, what happened with that?
This mic right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll let you have mine.
Okay, cool.
I know.
Well, I feel special now. Yeah. So I guess basically about 2 years ago, my old band was going to do a couple of shows with these guys. I think we were going to swap shows, one show in St. Louis, one show in my hometown. So that's how I kind of figured out about them, and I was listening pretty heavily. They were, I think, last year my number 4 artist on pretty sweet love story. No, not number 1. There's 3 above you guys. I don't remember who they are, but So yeah, I've been listening to these guys for quite a bit. And then pretty much through the community, like we were talking about, and social media, really, Tyler reached out to me on Instagram, I guess like 4 or 5 months ago at this point. So then we started chatting and whatnot, sent a video of me playing their stuff, and then, that all leads to here, tons of steps in between that, but that's too long of a story. But it's been very interesting seeing how, this group operates from the inside of it rather than the outside of it. I mean,
they don't have their shit together.
No, not like that at all. Not like if anything, it's more so the opposite. Yeah, no, it's been pretty professional, I would say, from my viewpoint. But it's been super cool to play with these guys since I have been a fan of them for a while.
So you had to say that, right? Since you're the new guy.
No, yeah, I'm still paying my dues. I still have to suck up, No, I'm being honest. So.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
As far as the different perspective like that, that's. I think I kind of know of one other situation that's similar to that, but yeah, because that's not the way that always goes, especially in your position. You're just kind of getting rolling, and a lot of times when people join a band, they're already, they've been at it, they're established and all that kind of thing. So, let's let the singer talk there. What how did you end up in the band? How did they realize that you were the perfect choice?
Well, like they said, my buddy Nico hit him up. I guess it was, from what I saw, it was Facebook. He's like, hey, at Garrett, check out this guy or whatever. And I guess from what TJ told me is that he checked out. So when I started music, I didn't go into covers. I immediately went into writing and recording music with my brother-in-law. And I was with our band Greedy Lion. And so TJ checked out the second album, and he listened down to Red Like Mars, and I guess he showed Tyler. He's like, dude, fucking check this out. And so from there, they, I guess, reached out to me. Tyler and I talked on the phone on my way to a tutoring session for math.
Okay.
And
They were teaching.
I was teaching. I wasn't taking. I don't need to take. But he sent me some tunes. One of them was Shoal Creek. Another one was Poem 59. The other one was an untitled track, just instrumental. I guess they'd been working on it for about 3 years then. And so 2 weeks passed, and I say, all right, I'm finally listening to these. And so I listened to the untitled track first, and within 5 hours, I had come up with the melodies and the lyrics and all the harmonies, and it ended up being Find a Love, which was our first release, as you know, this lineup in August of last year. So, I mean, that's kind of how I came in the band.
What part of the world where were you at that point in time? Did you move?
Physically?
Yes.
Okay. I was in Sacramento, California.
Okay. I knew you said you were. Okay.
Yeah.
So you travel just for the band itself. You haven't relocated.
No, I travel for the band, and I stay at TJ's house, when we're doing
So it's
stuff.
still, just so people know, I mean, you're still at the grassroots level, the van, the trailer, the couches.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's honestly, that's part of what I try to point out, that it's not easy in a lot of cases as far as the town to town, everything besides the show. The show's the easy part, but
The Airbnbs make it a
little easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Airbnb make it easier.
The Airbnbs is the home away from home a little bit, but still, that's,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is what, week 5,
Fifth,
6?
yeah.
I think
5,
five.
6? Are we in the middle of 6?
Something like
I don't
that.
know. It's the first time
Don't
we've...
look at me. I don't.
I'm trying to think.
I slept in my bed last night.
Yeah. But this is the first time we've had this big of a run of things, and yeah, it's definitely been a learning experience, and it's amazing getting to play so often because we all love getting to do this and getting to meet the people and be in front of Dirty Honey's crowds, which have been amazing. I mean,
It's a great pairing.
oh yeah,
Just
and-
from a fan perspective, sound wise, I mean, it's not like you're copycatting each other, but
Exactly.
they're they're cousins or whatever.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean, you're not that far apart.
Totally, and they're the coolest dudes too. So it's been really good in that regard. But yeah, I mean it's a learning experience and kind of like related to what you're talking about with social media. It's funny because I think just like people might have like an impression of what goes on behind the scenes at rock shows or whatever. I feel like they might have a different impression of like, oh, you're blowing up on social media, you must be, you're doing it. And like you're saying, it's like, no, we're in a 12-person van and old trailer and, hopping around with either friends on their couches or Airbnbs or whatever. Like, we're very much just, doing this grassroots, even though you might look at it and think it's like, oh, these guys.
Yeah,
are-
you're at this point. You're trying to translate the social media eyes to eyes in the crowd.
Totally, yeah, totally.
How is that transition been for you? I mean, I guess in a way it's good because I mean you already have eyes. You already have a
Yeah.
starting place.
Yeah.
But you're trying to figure out where to go from there, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that kind of the trick between social
Exactly.
media and actual shows?
Exactly, and it's been honestly, it's been amazing. Like it's been, I think, what we've been wanting for a long time because like we've always kind of, it's not arrogant, but we pride ourselves on putting on like a great live show
Right.
and like really leaving an impression with people, and so that's been the thing is like just trying to get more people to. If we can get people in a room, we're pretty confident we can at least get some of them won over. And so this has been the first time that people that might have seen us on social media from the East Coast can actually see us, and then the response from that. I mean, it's almost every night people will be like, "Man, you guys, I loved your clips on social media, but like in person, this is a whole different
That's cool.
thing, and we're
Because people are probably
fans now."
expecting the other thing. There's probably
Oh,
people
yeah.
waiting to tear you down.
Sure, well,
You know what yeah.
oh, they don't even they
Or they don't wait, they
they're
just do it.
commenting like they're
Look at our comments. There's a good amount of that.
Yeah.
Well,
but,
negative comments help drive the algorithm too. So
Oh, dude, and
you know what I mean? That
totally. I mean,
Yeah.
we
Attention.
kind of hold all that
We don't-
stuff
we don't care.
loosely. Yeah, we're just, and I think
It's
a lot
pretty
of
funny.
it is funny, and the thing that like I think is interesting is I feel like most people, and we have in the past, like we'll go in and just delete all the negative stuff. Now, I mean, we just post so freaking often. Sorry, everybody, but we post so often that like
It
we
doesn't
can't keep
matter.
track. So we just leave it, and honestly, it helps because then
We have
kind
a
of
lot
like
of people defending
Yeah,
us,
the-
which is very nice.
the community
is-
of people there, they defend us, or like you said,
your burner accounts can go to you.
dude, we've been talking to yeah, Caden over here will be like, dude, I really want to make a burner account because I got a perfect response. But no, most of the time, I mean, we just
2112.
yeah, we just leave that stuff because it's like, yeah, I mean, algorithm stuff, but also, I mean, is there an artist ever that everybody unanimously
Yeah.
loved? It's like you don't have to appear that way. If people hate it, and honestly, it's been really cool because there's some people this was a while back, but there's specifically this one guy who commented and was like, all your stuff sounds the same and it's all reminiscent of people. And we responded and we're like, hey man, you should check out like these 3 songs from us, like, and then let us know what you think. And the dude was cool and was like, all right, I'm gonna go do that. Within 20 minutes, he comes back and comments, I was wrong. You guys are onto something. This is really cool. And we made sure to respond. Be like, dude, thank you. You're doing what 99% of
They
people on the
wouldn't do.
internet are not doing, and you're actually digging deeper than this 15-second clip.
And we
So that's-
planted that guy.
Yeah.
That was not a real
Yeah,
person.
that was our burner
That was
account.
a
yeah.
burner.
That's a really cool story.
That's why we had to do the tour so we can pay off the loan that we took out to pay the guy.
Yeah.
Pay the
loan
guy.
structure.
Yeah.
All right. So at this point, what's your team look like? I know I'm sure a lot of it is still in house and everything, but what's your?
Well, so it's
I mean,
us.
I guess whatever you feel comfortable talking
Yeah,
about.
no, for sure.
Gotcha.
We have an awesome team of people, but it's primarily still us. I still manage all of our social media stuff, but then we're with Red Light Management, who are amazing. Our manager's name is JP Durant, and he manages like he co-manages Three Doors Down with Dirty Honey's manager, and also manages I think a country artist and a Christian artist, and it just has a lot of experience in the industry.
Right.
And then we work with our agents are with United Talent. It's Ken Fermagelich, I believe is how you pronounce it. I've heard like 4 different pronunciations, and Alec Vidmar, and they represent like a lot. So I think Ken.
It makes it sound like we don't know who he is.
We know. Oh, we you know he's awesome.
We already
But
talked to
I've
him.
heard his name pronounced.
Did you get hooked up with
It's
Red Light and
for
everything
English.
after the social media success?
It was a bit of that. Yeah. Well, sort of. So we
Gotcha.
had a friend of ours. Well, he's now a friend of ours, but someone else in the industry came across some of our stuff. His name, I guess I can tell the story. His name is Blaine Barkus, and he's works with I think Sony in Nashville, but with their like Christian music division. And he came across some of our stuff, and he's a drummer too. So he and I were talking a little bit, and he's like, "Man, you guys are great. Like, if there's any way I can help you out, like I'd love to. I think you guys are really on to something."
In fact, you can.
Yeah, and I was like, "Hey, man, like." Really appreciate it. Totally no pressure, but we are, we're still doing this all ourselves. If you happen to have any, management or agent contacts, like we're looking to add on to our team that way. And so he's like, yeah, let me look through and think about it. And it was probably another, I don't know, month or 2 after we talked to him about that. And in that time was when the social media started to really pick up.
I mean, we were on Zoom and phone calls and stuff,
Yeah.
like 2 meetings a day, it felt like, with like major management and
Yeah.
labels and stuff. So it did kind of hit hard eventually.
Yeah, but I think when Blaine was talking to us, we still had like 4,000 followers on Instagram or something. I mean, we were still building it. And then he eventually was like, "Hey, so I've worked with this guy JP in the past, and a couple other people on our team." And basically, they had us come down to Nashville to do a showcase. And what was supposed to just be a showcase with JP and our attorney, Nick Ferrara, turned into a bunch of other people that started reaching out to us and talking to us on from the social media success. And, we asked them, like, hey, so, like, people from this agency want to come out, and people from this agency want to come out, and this, whatever. And they're like, oh, yeah, sure, that'd be great. So from there, we did the showcase, and, they dug us, and we started working with them then. But that's basically how that all happened. And then, from there, they've been amazing, because a lot of it is just letting us do what we still have been doing. But also pointing us in the right directions, getting us connected with this tour, getting us connected with some stuff that we'll be doing next year. Like it's been very cool, and it's related to the social media, but they all said to us too, they're like, hey, the numbers are awesome, but it's more that, like Tyler said earlier, the numbers got them in the door, and then the music was
You got to prove it after the fact.
Totally. So anyway, that was very long-winded, but
That's
that's
all right.
the story.
What during your time so far? Who are some folks you found yourself around or in a room with that you're like, holy shit! Like, this is one of those moments to where
Not even.
how did I get here? Or how am I playing here? Just those moments.
Well, I mean, this is gonna sound tacky, but this is kind of how I approach everything. They might be tired of it. It's pretty much every day. Like, just it's we're all very tired. We all have moments we want to go home. I definitely had a big moment last night. I was like, God bless it, I really want to go home. But then you wake up and you're like, I'm going to Memphis to play for people who want to hear my music. Like, awesome. So that's not necessarily a person, like a holy crap moment or anything,
Right.
as far as meeting somebody, but it's like just beyond earthly blessings that we get to do. That's Oh,
But yeah.
you handed me this as if I was supposed
Oh,
to
I
say
was gonna
something.
say, like, we haven't had so far. We haven't had as many like in person, but we have had a lot of social media interactions with like
Yeah.
people that we were crapping
Yeah.
our pants about.
The two biggest for me was Uncle Jesse. John Stamos followed
Yeah.
us. I
Uh-huh.
freaked out just because,
Right.
90s kid. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesse and the Rippers, I mean,
He doesn't get it. but
holy
it's
cow,
all right.
yeah. Caden doesn't get it so much.
Alright. That exposed me now.
But anyway, the biggest one for me personally, I think, has been Paul Stanley. And him following us, and like, I was like, screw it, man, I'm about to message this dude. This is a star child. I got one chance, and I did. I was like, hey, man, thanks for following us. I hope you really dig it. And he's like, love the music. I showed Audley Freed, if you know Audley. He's like just another insane guitarist, and he's like, everyone's digging it. I'm like, wow. Funny story. I was driving to a music video shoot for us, and I was excited. I was at a stoplight, and I had just read that message to my girlfriend on the phone, and I'm like, yes, this is so sick. And I'm driving, and I'm like excited, and I look to the right, and there's like a vintage car lot, and I love just looking at cars, and I'm looking, and I'm super happy about Paul Stanley. Then I look back this way, and I'm in the middle of an intersection, and I smack a guy. So I was so excited about Paul, I got in the
Not a guy, a car.
Oh yeah. No, everyone's cool.
Everyone's
You can
Swept under the rug by management.
no. You can edit this out. The rest of the story is kind of funny too, because like I hit the car, and like they came out, and the guy he said to me, he's like, you ran a red light. I was like, I know. And he was like, you hit my car. I was like, I know. And it was in our big band van, and I didn't. It was super awkward, so I was like, I'm gonna make small talk with this guy. I tried to smooth it over. I was like,
Are you a Kiss fan?
no, even worse. I said to him, so were you heading somewhere? And he's like, yeah, I was on my way to a gig. I'm going to be really late for it now. And I was like, oh, I hit you with my band van. And he went, what's your band's name? And then we became friends. Like, we're friends on Facebook now. But anyway, Paul Stanley was a big one. I guess just that kind of stuff's super cool, because it's like, people are people. But when people have influenced your life, that's pretty crazy. I'm not like a Kiss freak. I love the early stuff, but like it's Paul Stanley or even freaking Mike Smith, like
Right.
Bubbles from
Yeah.
Trailer Park Boys. He followed us.
Yeah.
That's just amazing. It's kind of just like that community thing that I was we were talking about earlier. It's like Paul Stanley or Mike Smith or whoever it is. It could be anyone. It's like it's just cool that like they're given the time to dig it.
Well,
and
yeah,
it's awesome.
And I like Jason Bonham followed us, so I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" And then actually, like we were talking about earlier, Zach Bryan's. I'm kind of buddies with his drummer now, just through some social media stuff. He's had me out to a couple shows and stuff too, and it's just really cool that you find all these like-minded people through this that I think understand because of how we're going about in social media stuff. That it's like it's us. We're not trying to put on costumes or whatever. It's like we're just out here playing music.
That's
and
what a lot of
posting
the
about
Texas
it,
guys kind of get resentful for is the guy the young guy that has a song and he puts it on TikTok, and then he's getting those spots above them,
Yeah.
but hasn't paid any dues. He doesn't really know how to. He's not. Not only did he get the spot, he doesn't know what he's doing yet.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, this guy got it and he's extremely talented, so that's okay.
Yeah.
They're more resentful of him skipping the bases, but not being able to hold it up on the end. That it's just gonna go away after the fact, and that that seems to be something that you guys are very mindful of. That you want the social media success, but you plan on not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah,
and
and I mean,
that's
Yeah.
a lot of people don't think about that.
No, and I mean we played how many rooms with no people in it in the past. I mean we've done that plenty of times. So that's why again.
That's probably why those folks give you the credit or the whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because you paid your dues too.
Yeah.
Same as getting a big record deal or something out of nowhere, for somebody.
Well, and we view it as such a
Without all the
blessing
money.
too, because of we've been on the other side, so it's so like we're so stoked about it. It's not just like, oh, this is what happens. You post something, you get big, and then you're there. It's like, no, we've been in the trenches for a while. So the fact that we have fans now, it's like, holy crap, this is a
Well,
blessing.
it's just a thing too of like, what does being deserving of something mean? Like, we're no different than anyone playing at the Stagger Inn in Edwardsville, Illinois.
Right.
I mean, I did that forever. I still love being able to do it when I can. Sometimes it just is what it is. But to go back to the other thing about the holy crap moments, I really like it when like a younger person will come up or like with their dad or their mom, and like they're a little bit too shy to say it, but mom or dad says, you were the first rock band that they've ever seen. Like, this is their first rock concert. And to say that we have like spoiled them to like, it's like, yeah, you guys really, like, thank you. It's like, hey, I was in those shoes before. Like, this person did that for me. So it's kind of a full circle moments too. Like,
Reassurance.
yeah, it's almost like we're playing for ourselves again in a lot of ways. Like, or we're playing for our dads or something like that. Like, that's the coolest thing. Like, acceptance and respect is nice, but just I don't even know how to say it. It's just like coming together for those 45 minutes right now with an opening set and like
Right.
able to be one with folks. Like, that's the holy crap moments. Now, if I saw Paul Stanley in the crowd, it'd probably be pretty sick too. But,
You'd be doing a selfie from the stage.
Oh, yeah.
With him.
yes.
Vodka and orange juice.
We'll do a couple quick questions and let you guys get back to your stuff. When you're playing these shows, especially when you're going into a place where you're the opener, and there's going to be some folks here that know your music, but it's primarily someone else's crowd. But you see the crowd start to bob their head. You know what I mean? Winning over those fans in person, from your point of view, how does that feel? What's that like? What's that mean to you?
It's mega. Like, I mean, that's how you do it. I can't tell you how many times I've thought I didn't like a band or I wasn't into them, but then I watch a documentary about them or I see them live, and I'm like, yeah. So, like, being able to do that for folks who have never heard of us at all, like, those are instant lifelong fans, and they let us know, and it's great, but I'll pass it down.
I think it's also we had a bit more of a drastic view of that earlier this year and last year. We did a couple runs with Blackberry Smoke, who they're friends of ours now, and they're amazing, greatest people.
Saw them here.
Oh, really? That's awesome. Yeah. But their crowd, one, that was before our social media had done anything. We played with them a little bit last November, and then earlier this year in like February, March.
Thanks to Brett.
And yeah, thanks to Britt, that he was special.
Britt seemed to be the coolest.
Oh my gosh, he was the best.
He's our buddy.
He seemed that's a little bit sidetracked, but he seemed to he didn't seem like he was playing that hard as a drummer. But he seemed, but I've heard he beat the shit out of he played hard, but didn't look like it. It didn't look like there was a lot going on back there.
He was in some heavy fucking bands
He
in the
was
90s, though.
right.
I think it's because he was so freaking strong too.
He was just efficient.
Big dude.
Yeah, he was just efficient.
He
So
knew
it's
how
like
to hit and pull a drum out.
yeah, he didn't need to put his whole arm into it. It was just he was an efficient player. So yeah, he was really special, and we really owe a lot of. Well, literally being on those bills at all, it was him who got us on them. So, like, that was amazing.
That's cool.
But those shows, that was a bit more of a drastic version of, like, what you're asking, where it was, like, at that point, one, it's a very different crowd. They're into the rock stuff, but a lot of them are just into, like, dancing, drinking a beer, having a good time, and listening to more, like, the country side of what Blackberry Smoke does.
Yeah, they do have kind of a couple different sides to their music.
Yeah, and so those shows, especially last November, I mean, that was when our social media hadn't gone anywhere yet. That was it was really cool. We'd get it. I would always notice about halfway through the set, you started to see people warm up and be like, "Whoa, whatever." And then at the merch booth after, I mean,
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, we always go to the merch booth after on these opening things, after our set and the headliner set. And these ones, of course, you know, we get a bunch of people. They're all amazing. But that was the one where it was like, wow, these people probably really haven't heard of us.
Yeah,
and the fact that we were able to win some over, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty dang good feeling.
That's actually, and that's an older crowd too.
Totally.
Yeah, not just old. It's diverse.
Yes.
They've got
You got
country and
dads
rock and bikers and hippies and cowboys and everybody in between. So
Totally.
the fact that you could win them over that's.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a cosmic gumbo.
It is. And
Sounds like a
it's
good
really
band name.
interesting. We have like a lot of dead fans that like will follow, like are starting to follow us. Like dead fans are starting to tape us, because not that every show, like we jam some and stuff like that. So it has been interesting. That has nothing to do with anything, but I like the dead, so that makes me excited.
Right. Just to be looped in. What's it mean on your part to? I'm
sorry.
Yeah, we'll wrap this up. What's on your meeting folks at the merch table?
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite parts of the night. I mean, all the experiences that we get over there are pretty positive, and hearing all the cool stories, like Tyler was saying, of like, this is my kid's first show, or like I have people giving me bracelets or something like that they've made for the whole band or something like that. It's like super cool stuff that I was doing at one point with like like these guys, so it's cool to be on the other side of that and hear all the new fans that we're getting. It's super awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
I love going out after our set. I don't sing particularly proper though, so I got to give my voice a little break after our set. Like I'll walk off, and our tour manager, who's away from us for a little bit, but Zach, he always gives us a fist bump as we walk off. He goes, "Good show," and I'll be like, "Oh, he's up," or something to that effect. Yeah, it just sounds aren't coming out my mouth quite right. So I mean, I'll always be out there after the headlining set. I mean, meeting and talking with the fans is awesome, especially when there's like the young kids and they're like you said, it's our first show and everything like that. And we just had that last night, and it was really cool.
Special.
And getting to be ourselves too.
Yes.
I mean, I hate to call ourselves authentic, because what the frick? But
What is it?
like?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I've said it to Kaden the most, and I think I said it to my mom, my girlfriend, the other day. It's like, it's been really awesome to meet these people as if I'm just meeting them. Like it's like at school or something like that. Back in the day, like it's just people that we become
And they're being
friends with.
cool with just you being.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good with like meeting people and not like feeling odd about it. Just I've done it quite a bit with the certain circles I'm in, but thanks.
Sorry.
Looks like a vape.
That's what it seems like.
But it's I when I was 13, at the local guitar shop in Springfield, Illinois, Slash came in with Miles Kennedy, and I hid in the bathroom for an hour, and it wasn't his fault at all. I didn't even go to the bathroom, but like it's a cool feeling that we get to talk to these people, especially at this stage of like not being super popular, and they don't have to run to the bathroom, so to speak. You know what I mean?
I
Like
understand.
we get to be. They don't have to be scared, and if someone is being a little shy, like if there's a young lady or something that's a little bit shyer to talk to us, like we're like, hey, like we'll specifically
Break that
reach out
up,
to those
yeah.
people and talk, and that's just I say it's a Midwest thing. I mean, he's from California and does the same thing, but it makes me feel like we're in the Midwest. Like everyone just talks to everyone and smiles, and that's what's really cool about those merch booths, is like they get to know us and we get to know them.
Yeah.
And it's pretty tight.
And that'll be your foundation.
Oh, for sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
That's how
people
you
that
make
take the
lifelong fans,
people that
man.
take the time to come back there and take a picture and shake a hand. That's where, through the up and down, that'll be the people that are still listening.
Yes.
I tell the story a lot as I took my kids to a show, and they were the singer's Brent Cobb. I don't know if you know who he is,
Yeah,
right? And my daughter knew a lot of his songs. My son knew a song or two. But after the show, Brent hung around, took pictures, shook hands, and like next day, Brent Cobb's blasting out of my son's room. You know what I mean? He liked him a little before, but he was a big fan because of the music and the person.
It's gonna be a proud moment. Yeah.
And the person, Oh, for me, definitely. I'm a huge fan. I actually sat down with him at Memphis. He was the one I got to interview at Memphis Fest.
Dude, Brent's awesome, and good for him for making that impression.
I don't think we were exclusive. I think he does that on a regular basis. You know what I mean? And that says a lot. It's good business sense too.
And that's what's
but if you were only doing it for business, it would shine
right.
through.
People see through it, man.
Yeah,
100%.
it's cool. Like obviously, we say that whole thing, and there was the whole spiel about being authentic and stuff. It's like, but I mean, that's when you're off the stage and everything. It's like you just be yourself. That's how it is. It's how it should always be. It's like when you're on stage though, there should never be like this negative stigma against like putting on a character because you're wanting to put on a show.
We're entertainers.
It's how it is. Like
it's a rock show.
Hey, I probably shouldn't say this. This is spilling the secret sauce, but I don't talk like how I talk on stage. No.
But with that said,
and you don't get to talk on stage.
But with that said, we still laugh at each other when we mess up.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, every night we are ourselves on stage too, but. I mean,
I understand what you mean.
We just dive
it gives you a
deeper,
chance to play into it.
Well, it's a part of the art.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're very into the parts that we're playing and all that, and we try to dive in as far as we can. And, if that comes across as doing some funky move that Tyler does on stage, then that is what it is.
They don't gotta dig it.
Yeah, no.
They don't gotta dig it. Isn't that right?
We have
Some of the
met
stuff
Paul
is just
Stanley,
for
right?
us.
I mean,
Hey.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, but all right, man. Well, I'll let you get out of here. I got one question I'm obligated to ask. It started off as a joke, and now it is a requirement. So what is your favorite Little Debbie cake?
Ooh, zebra cake on my. Well, is Little Debbie got oatmeal cream pie?
Mm-hmm.
Oatmeal cream pie.
I'm trying to figure out what's the donut stick. Is that them?
I think I don't know what the official name of it is.
I like the
but-
donut stick.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't.
Yeah, you're in.
Man.
Sacramento.
Zebra
Yeah,
cake.
it doesn't-
Just say zebra cake.
Zebra cake.
Play fudge round, and you'll be with Oliver
Who is the animal the frosted animal crackers or something like that?
Yeah.
Is that Little Debbie?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so, but
It's
it's
I don't know.
okay.
There was some Little Debbie cracker
That's a
my
southern
grandma always
thing,
got
man.
me.
Don't worry about it.
Seriously,
Yeah, it's a
Oatmeal cream pie for me all day long.
It's a southern Midwest sort of thing. The people that I've asked from the Northeast, they don't know how to answer that either.
Oh,
So.
there's like these almost
Apparently
like
they're made in Tennessee too. I've been looking at Little
Seriously?
Debbie
yeah,
sponsorship here.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
it's like these little sugar cookies my grandma used to get, and it was like knockoff Oreos. Sorry, little Debbie, I don't mean to diss you, but I mean like those are the ones I always loved.
That's fine, man. All right, y'all. I'll see you tonight at the show.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
October 25th. Are you
Yeah.
October
No,
25th.
anything you want to say? Yeah.
Real quick, I'm sorry.
October 25th, the EP comes out. We released 2 singles already. Got music videos coming out. We're going to be playing shows all the time. You can't get rid of us. You can't get rid of us. You better just dig it.
So I have to say it every time. If you make it through these interviews, make sure you follow everyone's socials. I know they're doing well on socials, but that doesn't matter.
Oh, we need it. We need it.
Follow them on socials, interact with
Yes.
with them on socials, comment, like, share with your friends, especially all of the folks that like that style of music. Share it because they're still trying to transition from the social media world to putting asses in seats. I mean that's the whole point. So. And follow them on wherever you listen to your music too.
Everything.
Hit those follow buttons on their stuff, and when they ask you to subscribe to a song because it's going to be releasing, they do all that for a reason, and it helps everyone involved. So if you dig what they do, spend a couple extra seconds and do them a solid and do all that. So.
Amen.
Cool.
Amen.
Peace.
And we're out.